Okay, so we're looking at two binomials. What is the first term in the first binomial? Raise your hand, please. What's the first term in the first binomial? So right now we know that we have two brackets. We know that we have to multiply 2x and 3. We have to multiply it by x plus 1. Okay, we have two terms that we have to multiply together. Do you remember in grade 9 when you learned distributive property? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take each term separately and multiply it by everything inside the bracket. So this is my first term. 2x is the first term. What's the second term? Positive 3, correct. Okay, so let's start with 2x, and we want to distribute it to everything inside the other bracket. Okay, so I'm going to take 2x and I'm going to multiply it by the first term in the second bracket, and then I'm going to multiply it by the second term in the second bracket. This looks confusing, but if you pay attention, you'll understand. Okay, so the first thing we're doing is we're taking 2x and multiplying it by x, because we're taking the first term in the first bracket and multiplying it by the first term in the second bracket. What is, I'll write it over here, 2x multiplied by x? 2x squared. Okay, so 2x squared. So I've multiplied the first term by the first term in the second bracket. Now I have to take this term again and multiply it by the second term. So we're going to take 2x and we're multiplying it by positive 1. What's positive 2x multiplied by positive 1? What's 2x times 1? 2x. Positive 2x. Now we're going to take the second term, 3. It's a positive 3. And we have to distribute that with everything inside the second bracket. So now I'm going to take positive 3 and multiply it. Let's go this way. Multiply it by x. What's positive 3 times x? 3x. Good. Now I need to take this term and multiply it by the second term. What's positive 3 times positive 1? What's 3 times 1? Positive or negative? Good. Does everyone see what I've done there? I've taken the first term, multiplied it by everything in the second bracket, and then I've taken the second term and multiplied it by everything in the second bracket. You're just distributing each term and multiplying it by the second bracket. Do you think I'm done? I have 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 3. I have 2x squared term. Do I have any other terms that are like 2x squared? There's no other term that has a squared in it, right? So that has to stay by itself. Okay, good. Now I have a 2x and a 3x. Can I just combine those together? If I have 2 x's and 3 x's, how many do I have all together? Good. I have 5 x's. No, not squared. If I have 2 apples and you have 3 apples, how many apples do we have? 5. We don't have 5 apples squared. We just have 5 apples. And then I have a term at the end which just says plus 3. Can I add or subtract that with anything? No. So that's it. That's the answer. If you can memorize this word.
What word?
What word is that?
Wow.
Foil. Then it will help you remember how to solve this question. Okay? We're using something called the FOIL method. So what we're doing is we're multiplying the first term. So let's start with that. We're doing the first terms. We're multiplying the first terms together. So we have x times 2x. That's the first thing you multiply. And like I just showed you, I'll just draw a little arrow like a rainbow method. We're using FOIL to help you remember. What is x times 2x?
2x squared.
2x squared. Okay. Sorry, that should be an equal sign. Okay, so O stands for outside. So we need to look at the expression. So x is on the outside of this expression and 1 is on the outside of the expression. This is just helping you remember what to multiply next. And this is like I showed you earlier. Now we're going to multiply x times positive 1. What's x times 1? Raise your hand, please. What's x times 1? Yes. Good. And it's a positive times a positive, so it's a positive 1x. Inside. So that reminds us which terms we have to multiply next. Which terms are inside? Yes.
4 and
No. Negative 4, thank you. And 2x. So now we're taking negative 4 and we're multiplying it by positive 2x. What's a negative times a positive? Negative. Okay, we need to remember that. Positive times a positive equals a positive. Negative times a negative equals a positive. And then a positive times a negative, or a negative times a positive equals negative. Yes, we have to multiply. So it's negative 4 times a positive 2 is negative, what's 4 times 2? And then we have an x, so it's negative 8x. Those are my inside terms. Okay, so L stands for last. So we had our first terms at the beginning, and now we have our last terms. Which terms are the last terms? Negative 4 and positive 1. So we're going to multiply negative 4 times positive 1. What's a negative times a positive? Negative 4. Okay, let me rewrite this without the colors. We have 2x squared. We have a 2x squared plus 1x minus 8x minus 4. We want to look at this and see, like, can I make this shorter? Can I simplify this? Do I have terms that are alike? Are there terms that are the same? I have two terms that are alike. What are the two terms that are alike? Yes.
1x and 8x.
Positive or negative?
Negative 8.
Good. So we can combine this. I can take 1x and subtract 8x. We want to make this simplified. You want to make it as short as you can. So I have 2x squared. What's 1x take away 8x? Negative 7x. And then we have minus 4. I know I'm done because I only have an x squared term, I have an x term, and I have a constant term. I cannot make this any shorter. This is as simplified as I can get.